Hello, class. How are you? Almost getting close to the end, fifth week already. I hope you had a chance to look at the movie posters and at the ghosting images. There are some really cool stuff there. So I know that I only assigned the reviews of movie posters, but as you are doing it, also check what other of your classmates have done. It's really inspiring. So let's start with our new module. The module 5 is branding and visual identity. And again, as with I was talking about typography, you can have a whole semester about typography. You can have a whole semester about branding. We are just touching on small stuff of how branding is created, how the visual and textual elements come together as a campaign to be memorable, to be into people's minds when we are talking about branding. So in this module, we will look into the purpose of the branding and also processes which help with the visual elements of branding, like logos or advertisement design. What makes a good logo, what makes a good memorable ad, and how we actually build a story, because again we are talking about the storytelling and storytelling through the visual design. What stories do those designs tell? We'll be also touching on some responsible advertising practices, and we'll also dab into some of our skills to create logos and advertising. So let's see what is in the module. There is a number of activities for this week. A lot of reading, and as I said, check the work of your fellow students from last week. Read the several chapters from our book, mostly on branding and visual identity and advertising. You can also read package design. We are not going to go deeply into designing packages, but it's very interesting chapter and gets some cool ideas, which actually, if you are interested in usability and thinking how to get creative into some other ideas with repurposing, this would be a good one to add. What I would like to, it's kind of in this module, because branding is an area where you deal with copyright quite often. Even right now, we are having a situation in our town when the popular restaurant has to change their name because there is already a name of the restaurant like this in New York, and they have to deal with rebranding of their place. So I would like you to read on copyright law and look into royalty fee, what are the royalty-free and right-managed stock photos. Familiarize yourself with those particular areas, and also explore Creative Commons. This is those issues I would like you to get deeper in, and we'll discuss it in Zoom more in depth. And this is important, coming back a little bit into composition, proportional systems, and the grids, which were assigned in the previous chapters, because we'll be starting working with Adobe InDesign, which deals very much with organizing things on the page. So make sure that you are familiar with those concepts. I assigned, there are actually 3 assignments for this week. One is the comment at length on the poster or work designed by 2 people assigned to you. And here is the list and the instructions whom you are going to review. 2 works. Again, if you don't see the work of the person assigned by Wednesday and they didn't email you to tell you when to expect their work, please just go to the next person in the line. There is no reason for waiting. And there are 2 assignments. I will talk about them shortly. The Zoom meetings this week would be on Wednesday at 8 p.m. as we have had them, and I moved the noon till Thursday because I have a committee meetings on Wednesday, which started, and this was the only time we could arrange them. So if this doesn't work for you, the same process applies. I will post the Zoom meetings on the board, and please respond to the question. So we'll be talking into the tools. There are quick overviews and couple tutorials which you would be learning in InDesign for this particular work, and still you will have to do some work in Illustrator. So generally the beginner's work: opening document, manipulate text, adding graphics, colors and effects, creating the frames. So please watch those tutorials if you are not familiar in InDesign. So I will get to the homework first and then kind of go up a little bit. So what I would like you to do is that first you have two assignments: logo design and advertisement design. Please read instruction for both assignments before you start doing the designs, because you actually are creating them for the same company. So what you have to do is imagine generic product or service on company that produces, distributes, provides the service, and think about the brand process. You are not, again, this is 1 week assignment. We are not creating the whole branding campaign and whole brand, but I would like you to start on that. Before I actually talk about logo design, I would like to come back to our starting page. Let's go back. And I posted module Find Branding Identity with a small logo of the Citibank. It's actually done, right, as you can see on the napkin, and you may or may not know the story. The Citibank logo was created by Paula Scheer, who owns Pentagram, the company which a big design company, very well known, so please get yourself familiarized with it. But what you can see here, it's what is called $1.5 million napkin. It's a story of Paula Scheer, who came to talk with the stakeholders into the having it over lunch, discussing how the branding will work, how the branding should be changed for the new company which was created from Citicorp, and which merged with Travelers. And she took a napkin and kind of drew the logo and in 5 minutes and said, that's your logo. And people were saying, well, you know, it's $1.5 million for 5 minutes work, which she said, yes, 5 minutes work and 20 years of experience. So what I would like you to do for your homework this week, also design a logo. While you are designing the logo, pay attention first, read the materials, but think about couple interesting things. When you think about what you will include in the logo, how you will represent the message, how the textual and visual elements would be together. You don't have to have a textual elements, what you will include, and make sure that it satisfies 3 criteria. Simple, think about Nike logo. It's not very complicated. Make sure that it looks equally good on big poster and small business card. Sometimes you design the logo, put it on a small business card, and it's a blob because it's squished together, or you stretch it out and kind of doesn't look very well. And that it looks good in color and in a grayscale. If you decide to go with colored logos, multiple color logos, see how they look together. See if they are not, look odd, or the contrasts are not visible. And here, as you can see, there is an evolution of Apple logo, which kind of stresses this principle, okay? Your first original Apple logo doesn't really look very good in small design. There is too many elements. You can only see it on the which you can see when the things is stretched out. This one is the rainbow logo. If you put it on the black and white, it kind of looks like a striped pajamas and doesn't really look that good. Then it's kind of a monochrome Apple logo and some kind of more stylized, but it's a logo which we all remember. Then I would like you to think about going, when you are designing the logo, think about who will be the potential target audience, what would be the goals, what would be the brand key attributes, competitors, takeaway, emotional connection, and draw it on the piece of paper. Determine what would be the color palette and design the logo in Illustrator. And this is important. It has to be a vectorial design because you will have to be able to make it smaller or larger depending on how you are going to use the logo in the future. So I want you to design it in the Illustrator. Post the logo on the blog explaining the design process. And I cannot stress it enough. Design process is not I opened the Illustrator and did this, and applied this tool, this tool, this tool, this tool, this tool. No, I want you to see how did you determine that it will satisfy the target audience? What were your objectives? What would be the connection? What would be the takeaway from the audience? Why did you decide to use those and that elements? Cite your sources, use the theories of the design and so on. And then move to advertisement. And this one again, it doesn't have number of elements. Actually, I would like you to keep it simple, but the thought has to be in it. The good ad doesn't have many elements. It has a headline, it has a tagline and body and sign of message. And so you have to think about how those elements would be going in together. So it's very important of the importance of the choices. So please make sure that you are, when you are working about it and working on it, that you are concentrating on the message, on the elements, that you are able to identify elements of the good ad, that you can describe how those elements play a role in your design. So a lot of work this week. I'm looking forward to see what company do you choose, what kind of elements you will put into your logo and your ad. And I will see you on Wednesday or Friday or Thursday. Bye, guys.